here we are, ladies and gentlemen, on Cloud Kingdom, and in the upper right-hand corner, we have our blue Protoss player from Team SCV Life. It is Value. His opponent down here in the bottom left-hand corner, winner of the last game from Root Gaming, is our red Terran player, Masa.
So I hope we don't see a Proxy 2 Rex here, because I feel like Value might expect it, and you know, I know, and this because this is a great map for it. I know you talk about that a lot. It'd be sweet to see a nice, you know, good long game here, because if Root can tie this up, that's going to be a huge morale booster for them.
All right. Well, Masa certainly looked very strong in the last game. Was pretty dominating, as a matter of fact.
He looked excellent.
Yeah. Traded cost efficiently at all times, made his drops work to pretty great success, denying bases, carried not necessarily even an economic advantage for a large part of it, but at least economic parity while increasing his army and tech the entire time beyond that of his opponent. So very cool stuff out of Masa.
Definitely. And I mean, you know, it's Root versus TSL, man. Like, I haven't seen the polls for this one, but you know it's going to be fairly TSL favored. And in this situation, I don't know. I just feel like, I mean, if Masa can take this to a 2-2, Root's going to feel like they've got a really good chance here, because if you can beat Ragnarok and Value back-to-back, and like Masa's not even, you know, one of their star players or anything. Yeah. In this situation.
They still got great players that are sitting on the bench, too. I mean, you talk about Dodoro. Actually, one of the first events that I casted online, he knocked out Nesty in an online cup. So Dodoro, really? Yeah, Dodoro knows what it takes to win online, too. And so, you know, you have him, you have Leia, also Major rejoining the roster today. So still some very excellent players left. Of course, TSL, pretty stacked themselves. Even if Value were to go down here, you still have players like Symbol or Shine, or you have, you know, Hyun, that guy that we've casted a lot, or Polt, who's been playing really on top of his game lately.
Yeah, you know, a lot of those Zerg players, though, remember you mentioned Leia earlier, and of course Leia did take out Nurchio at IPL 5 in those opening rounds, and a lot of the TSL roster that's left that's really strong and would have a good chance against Leia is Zerg, and you know, definitely one of Leia's better matchups if you're looking at players that she's managed to take down in the past. Here's the Cybernetics core now finishing for Value. We'll see which tech route he's going to be opting to go for it here in a moment.
Also gets a pretty good scout, though. Sees nothing out of the ordinary. This looks like a pretty typical one-gate expand for the time being, unless Value wants to do something weird here. Is going to put a pylon down, but of course this is, while that could certainly high-tech, it's also largely going to be used to warp things around in case any sort of attack hits up at the front.
Exactly.
But let's see here. Masa going for quick factory and a bunker to actually put this in here. No second gas quite yet, but we're definitely seeing something very out of the ordinary here.
Yeah, Masa is worried about the possibility of a 4-gate, having only seen one gas. Possibility is definitely on the field, but I mean, the probe count right now is still being made, so it's at 21. It's more likely we're going to see the expansion here as we're up to 350 minerals. There's actually not a probe in position to drop it, though. So, okay, there it goes. It's leaving. Just okay, now it's going back. Now it's leaving. And there we go.
All right, and we are indeed going to have a Nexus. So just a typical one-gate expand. Things are looking, like we said, pretty normal for Value. Now, Masa, though, that's where the real question is. Are we going to see a big Marauder Hellion push? This was something that Polt was very fond of at IPL 5, although he would do a 1-Rax expand into double factory Marauder push. It hits about 2-3 minutes later, but it's a lot stronger. You have so many more units you can put into it.
And you can pull some SCVs with that build as well if you want. Yeah.
But it looks like that's basically, I mean, Masa, of course, not going for the second base quite yet, although it looks like he's saving up the 400 resources now, but still going to go for a Marauder Hellion push.
And there is going to be the command center behind this build. Hellion's taken a lot. Actually, that front Hellion is very close to dying right now. Masa doesn't want to be losing these units already. Did he bring an SCV with this push so he can repair it?
No, not that I see.
Okay. So concussive shells, guys, just wrapped up. And here's going to be the push out of Masa. And, you know, this isn't a big kill move, but it can get a lot of damage in. And it can kill at times, but we'll see here for Value.
Very weird, though. Just one Marauder so far. It's actually been forever since he started another Marauder. One's finally popping up now, but he was banking resources towards later tech. So this is just designed to poke, but there's not a whole lot to poke here.
Yeah, everything's pretty much up on the high ground. Another round of Warpins for Value, here they are. Zealot Stalker should be enough that he'll now be able to push this back.
Yeah, enhanced a couple of sentries there just to be able to protect against these ranged units. There we go. Guardian Shield goes down. Does limit the amount of damage that any sort of ranged units can do. And now we... Oh, okay, he could have actually chased that down. And would have been actually perfectly safe, but of course didn't want to run into any sort of a trap.
Yeah, for all he knows, there's a whole another 2 barracks there worth of units, and this is an all-in. So
yeah,
Value just playing this, nice and safe. We saw, his very conservative opening, and even got Masa to be a little bit worried about the possibility of some crazy play. And Value's just taking it real slow, real easy. Expect, and yeah, he's even going to make an Immortal here because he just wants units. I think the longer this game goes on, the more comfortable Value's going to feel because, of course, he was picked here to take on Masa.
All right, well, bunker up at the front, and what's actually popping up behind this now? Just more barracks and pretty normal stuff actually popping out of our Root Terran player. Reactor being placed down, so he's going to, jump into those medevacs nice and early. He'll have that strong bio push ready. About that 10-minute push if he wants to. Engineering Bay, just really everything's coming up for Masa, but albeit a bit late. I mean, at this point, he's going to be behind, or behind where he wants to be as terms of upgrades go. That Engineering Bay coming down so late in this game.
Yeah, with okay, so a Reactor Hellion expand into starports for the your medevac marine, drop timing. Hold that thought. These force fields.
Wow.
Oh man,
that was destruction.
Masa just lost, I think, 600 minerals worth of units there, those Hellions. And that's rough, man, because you were just saying how his build is slower, and it is. Those medevacs just started 42, so it's going to be it's going to be pretty much exactly 10 minutes when those medevacs spawn. It can be 8:30, Kevin. Yeah. With 14 Marines and Stim. And he has Stim. I think he started Stim behind this, but other than that, and he got no damage in with those early units.
I mean, so far, pretty much, just everything that Masa has tried to do has not succeeded for him. So everything that he's done has essentially put him behind.
Yeah.
Now, Value's going after kind of the old Creator Prime style. 3-gate Robo with a Robo Bay going into Double Forge afterwards. Now, usually Creator puts up his Double Forge before the Robo Bay so he can start investing into 1-1 nice and early, then start to add on to that Colossus count afterwards. But this is going to net in close to the same effect.
Yeah, Value's just been playing really safe. That's all. I mean, we've been seeing it throughout the entire set so far. Take it slow, take it easy, and rely on the fact that you're probably better at this matchup than your opponent.
Double Observer OP, sitting over the same spot.
Especially when they're scouting the same location.
I know. Kev. All right, there he goes, finally. So one Observer going to duck off to the right here. And nice job. I mean, everything Value is doing right now is to stay safe. Yep. This is where drops are going to come through. He has a pylon there to watch it. He can also warp in units behind if necessary. Everything, though, is just making sure that he's not going to be caught unawares.
All right, Stalker is going to retreat here as the units do move forward for Masa. Of course, the Observer is going to maintain vision in this area. And, I mean, even the Observer positioning here is just like... I'm going to sit at the Zalnaga Tower so that I can see if you're actually pushing or not. Warping in some Zealots right now. Value is continuing to just turtle up.
My apologies. It looks like we did have a little bit of a drop, but that was pushed away very quickly by these Marauders. They actually didn't snag a single kill, so they were all picked up on very quick. Masa was thinking about some sort of a double-pronged attack as he had his units positioned over to the right-hand side. But these Stalkers are ready to receive yet another drop here in just a second. Along with the Colossus there, that's probably going to prompt Masa to move back.
Yeah, now that there's a lot, now that Protoss has Splash, there's not too much he's going to be able to do now. It is only one Colossus, so if he can get the snipe, well, then a different story, but that's, it's a very not assured move there. Colossi, man, they're pretty good at evading. They can kind of walk up and down cliffs, so.
Yes, and this is a pretty good map for that, too, because the Colossus up here can actually zone out all the units on the low ground, especially when this extended thermal lance finishes up, and we'll have no problem going back and forth between those spots over and over again. So, Masa loses another unit that was sent out to check on the army. Twilight Council's just about to finish up almost exactly the time that 1-1 does, so really, Value's just playing towards the super late game, and he is going to have an incredibly strong army.
You ever look at how a Colossus kind of kills a Marine? Like, when a single Marine comes up, it's just, like, crosses him out, and he's like, you no longer exist.
It is, though, but it's very cool vision, too. This factory is going to die very quickly. It's going to try and get a last-minute scout here. Let's actually see what Masa picks up off of this, and it's almost nothing. Dies actually before it sees the gateways.
That pylon, though. We saw how much damage a pylon can do in that first match.
Yes.
With like 38 Zerglings.
Pylon OP.
Almost got it. If only the wish to build a pylon could actually deny something from landing.
Well, he projected his image out there for a second. I want to build this. He's missed the pylon. Wow. He got as close as you could possibly get to that pylon without being able to see it. And Zealot Warpins are going to be something he has to worry about.
So, right now, Value is just slowly, I mean, everything from him, we can't say it enough, you know, his play style, it's very confident because you don't play super safe against somebody unless you know that it's not going to kill you. Like, a lot of times, the style of play that Value's playing with right now can just set you too far behind. If your opponent realizes you're playing really safe, they can just play really greedy, and then you just die.
Yeah.
Has Masa done that, actually?
No. The problem is that Masa is only getting +2 weapons now. He's very slow on his upgrades. He's not invested into a second starport, so you can see his medevac count is very low for the amount of bio units. He has 50 bio units, only 4 medevacs, so a stim is going to hurt him quite considerably. He's not gone up to Ghost Tech, so really he's just trying to amass a large army. And the problem is, against this sort of a Protoss player, you can't just amass a large army and hope to win. You've got to start varying your tech, taking risks. And he's not really done that yet.
So, I mean, it's really seeming like Masa's attitude to start the game was, you know, on pressure, try to get some damage in. That didn't work. All right, I'm going to play fairly standard from here, but still, you know, be on the aggressive side. He's had map control pretty much this entire game. And hasn't really done anything with it. He hasn't played greedy. He didn't go for, you know, quick fourth. He's still only making... Right now, he's not making SCVs. A lot of times I look up and I see he's making 1 or 2 at a time, but not 3. Even though he's got those 3 CCs, for instance, right now he's only making 2. And, you know, I feel like he's just had such a great opportunity here to completely take over the map. He could grab a 4th and have grabbed a 5th by this point because Value has not moved out past the halfway point on this map, except for the very... Can we actually see what he's seen?
Yes.
What Value's vision looks like?
Okay, so that was at the very beginning of the game, or relatively early into it. And he's poked in at the third once.
Yeah.
Okay, so looks like a couple of Vikings went down. They did a bit of damage to these Colossi. Actually, just one Colossus absorbing a shot, but that's pretty much it. A few units trying to duck in one more time. Value not going to take the bait, though, splitting up his forces, moving off to the right. Needs to have a bit of a warp in over here, and does. Templar being warped in too. We can see the Ghost Academy being put down in response to actually seeing those Archons out on the map. And now, Value's in that spot where he has all of his tech available to him, and he can tech switch at almost any given point in time.
Yep, and he's got 3-3 on the way, Kevin. I think we're just, I mean, a really big 3-3 push from Value would make a lot of sense. As you said, you know, that medevac count is just still incredibly low. And so if you can, like, slow push across the map and, like, you know, force a stim or 2 out of Masa, it's going to be devastating. So, I mean, that will definitely work. And then you've just got the fact that a 3-3 Protoss army is incredibly powerful.
It is. And especially as varied as it is right now. We've got charge lines, we've got Archons, we've got a ton of Colossi. And all of this at those 3-3 upgrades is going to be able to deal out a ton of damage. There's the blink up to the front, picks off 1 Viking, loses 1 Stalker. Pretty good trade actually for Value. All he wants to do is keep those Colossi alive. Looks like they are taking a couple of shots. One may fall here in a second. Bad engagement from Value initially, though, and he backs up while absorbing 2 more shots from the Vikings. Can't get too much done.
Kevin, there's only 4 Vikings left, and 2 of them are in the red. Value has done such a great job of picking these Colossi, or the Vikings off.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's still not good for Masa, no, but he needs a big hold right here. Stims up everything, keeps everything in that concave, but now can't find a way to actually engage against these Zealots, which are closing and just killing so much stuff. All the Vikings are down. The Archons are pressing up the front, too, and this just may be GG with this push. The Archons now breaking down their own force fields there to push back the last couple of units, and there's nothing to sustain this army.
That's positively ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a really strong push.
I mean, Value just attacked it before 3-3 was done. 3-3 is... I'm not even going to bother, but okay, there it is.
GG. All right, so he attacks on equitable upgrades, but it still doesn't matter. Value manages to take the game. TSL is up 3-1.
Kevin, on top of that, 3 of the 4 Colossi that were left, when they both were, I mean, it was like 150 to 165 supply. Value's a little bit ahead. 3 of his Colossi just start attacking the command center. Yeah. They're just crossing their beams on the command center. And, like, the battle's still going on. Like, everything's still dying. Everybody's still got an army, and it just didn't matter at all. Value, man. Pretty good versus this Terran, and yet, well, now we've actually, they're going to be bringing out Dodoro, in fact. So.
That's right. So we're going to have a Protoss player coming in next. Let's go ahead and run to a commercial break, and when we get back, guys, it'll be time for game number 5 between Root and TSL.